there. I don't think I've hit it. Let's see, where's it at? Oops, I think I dropped it out. Let's try that again. Well, hi friends, it's Wayne Polson coming to you from the living room of Heartwood, right next door to SM Heartland. This is that place 4 years ago that we used to call the 13-acre house. Do you remember that, folks? Those of you who've been with me the whole time, you'll remember that, I'm sure. Well, we've had so much going on here. There are so many things that have changed over the course of time in just 4 years that for me and Susie personally, it's a little bit, I guess it just feels normal, like this stuff just all happened. And when we look back over our shoulder, though, and we try to itemize everything that has happened, man, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on here. So if you go back and look through the videos I've produced on this property alone, it tells quite a story. But I've got another story I want to talk to you about. Let's get into it. So we have this see-through fireplace that was installed in this manufactured home before we moved in. We finally finished the surround and got all the wood put up, got this side in the living room pretty well finished, and we're real happy with it. It's all working well. This side, the kitchen side, and the dining room side is another story. We're still trying to work out this side. This side has a little bit of a problem in that the fireplace is kind of set in a little bit so that there's sort of a dish effect along that wall. So it's going to be a little bit hard to put straight wood on that dish and make it look good. So we're thinking about finishing this side with stone from the ceiling down to the floor and see how that works. But that's not really why I'm making this video. We had these steel doors made up when we first moved in because there are no doors for the fireplace itself. And we have one made for each side, as you can see right there. And in the beginning, we would take this living room side door off and we would leave the panel on the kitchen dining room side on. And the problem that we had, after a while, I noticed that we were pushing wood against this side quite often because, you know, you're on the living room side putting logs in and they would end up getting pushed up against this, screen mesh here. Well, what happened is the screen mesh has now gotten, I mean, it's useless. It's been softened from all the high heat and it doesn't hold its shape anymore. It's really not working as a fire screen mesh any longer. So when we close it, you can see there's a gap over here, and if you flip it the other way, it's even worse. And so I ordered a new fireplace mesh for this, and then I thought, you know, this might be a good video to make to show how this is going to be replaced. So let me get into it here. To start with, we have to remove this old screen. There's actually two rods up inside of here that are held in with one screw on the end of each rod. And I'm going to find one of these right here and go ahead and take this screw out. And then the other end of the rod goes through a little hole in a plate over on the opposite end. Set that there, then this rod has a screw right here. And that comes out just like that. And that's all there is to it, folks. That's all there is to getting the old screen out. So let's put the new one in. All right, so I have the old screen laid out here, and on this particular screen there is a little device here that keeps the I guess it's keeping these rings from sliding off for some reason. I don't know why it's necessary. But if yours has this, you can either try to like pull on the rod and then unthread it, which works pretty well for me, or you can grab it with a pair of pliers like this and just gently squeeze it, and it'll come off the end like that. And then just pull the old screen off. And I don't think I'll be reusing any of this stuff here, so just put it aside. We'll do the same thing for the other side. Here is that little retainer. Slide it off. And pull the screen out. There we go. Set that aside. All right, so now the new screen. I bought my screen from, I don't know if you all can see that, but it's Midwest Hearth is the manufacturer. In this particular case, each panel is 24 inches wide. So there's two panels in here. Each is 24 inches wide and 19 inches high. That's the roughly the same size as the one that I originally had in there. And you just measure that, and you pick the, you go to Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. You go to Amazon and you pick the link that's closest without going over your existing screen. It comes with the little spring handles here. Pull that out. Get it rolled up nice and neatly. Just going to take one and put it aside. Now on these panels, there will be, on one end, there will be two of these steel rings that are within an inch from each other. And on the opposite side, they're spaced about 2 inches apart all the way across here. So you want the narrow spaced rings to be on the inside. So that means I'm going to go ahead and start my rod through there. I want to put one of these pull handles on, and then I'm going to feed the next ring through there and just continue feeding this through until you get them all. Like that. Oh, I missed one over here, folks. Why didn't you tell me about that?
We told you so. We told you so.
Stuff happens. All right, so now he's all in place. Now, I do have a question. Like, it does seem like without that little retainer, because this set of screens didn't come with that retainer, this could easily pull in from the wall and become a problem.
What's the big idea? Am I dumb or something?
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and reuse these little retainers. I'm going to go ahead and take this ring off. I'm going to put this on. Now, if it doesn't hold tightly, take your pliers and just sort of bend it all back in like that to get it back to its original shape. Still not quite right. Let's try that. Oh, that feels good. And we'll let it go that far. That's about it. That should keep everything in place. Actually, I think I put that on wrong. I don't want it to push in this way. So let me pull this off. And you see how it's bent? I want the bend to go the opposite direction, I think. Because that way, and I'm going to have to use my pliers to get that to happen because it's going against the direction that it's designed to hold in. So I'm going to put that there like that. Yeah, that way, as I'm pulling in on the screen, this won't slide any farther toward the inside. This is the farthest it can go. All right, so anyway, all of that to say, that's how you do it. You do the same thing on the other side. I'm not going to waste the time or your time to show you that. It's the same thing. Just watch this double end, this double ring side here. Make sure that's on the inside where the mounting screw is. Make sure you put your spring handle on. And then, like I did here, I put this retainer on. If you don't have the retainer, no biggie. You'll just have to make sure that your screen is in place all the time. All right, so we're going to put it back in. We'll go ahead and start with the left side. Make sure when you're assembling this too that you put this little spring handle so that it's on the outside. That's one thing I forgot to mention to you. If you lay them both out on the tabletop and you do them exactly the same way, you're going to end up with one that's on the inside here. You can just flip it around like that, but it depends which way you run this little loop through here. So yeah, it's probably a trivial thing, but anyway, just a point to take attention to there. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the hole over here, like that. And then there's a screw hole. Right there. I don't think I've hit it. Let's see, where's it at? Oops, I think I dropped it out. Let's try that again. In the hole. There. There we go. That's good. Oh, you know what I did too? I forgot to flip this back to my side. Actually, what I'm noticing here is that I probably can't have my handle up that high. So I'm going to have to drop it down and hook it to a part of the chain down here where it's a little bit more exposed. So I'm going to take it back out and do that. All right, so I got that little thing moved. You can see right here, I got this ring off of the old screen and I attached it here about 3 loops down on the actual mesh itself, so it'll hang further below this plate. So let's finish the installation here. Let's find that hole. There it is. Oops. And put the screw in. Much better. Now I have a nice grip on it here. I can slide it both directions without a problem. All right, let's put the second one on. All right, so this one will go in the hole. And this hole's a little bit harder to see. There it is. All right. That's in place. That's in. I am so happy. This looks great. Man, it's almost too short, but it is actually long enough, so we're good there. Mine actually measured about 1/4 of an inch longer, but they didn't sell them on the 1/4 inch, so that's going to work. Well, friends, there you have it. Another project completed. It was a simple project, but it needed to be done. There's always something going on, isn't there, folks? I know there is here. Folks, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Please share the video if you feel led to do that. Also, if you'd like to contribute to the channel, there's a link in the description below to buy me a coffee. There's also a link, I think, below the video. It's thanks with a $sign or something on it. You can actually give through that as well. I think YouTube gets more of that money than I would, but anyway, there's a way for you to share. Other than that, folks, I don't think I have anything else. I'm still working on the deck video. The deck video is down there, right there in my laptop, being processed. I had to buy a new laptop. My other one bit the dust, and I was down for a couple of weeks there, couldn't do any work at all. So I finally bit the bullet, bought a new laptop, so we're up again, up and running. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Folks, you know the drill. Be kind out there in your neighborhoods. Be kind in your families. Be kind to one another. Find somebody in your life who you haven't talked to for a long time, who maybe you've had a rough time with in the past. Go to that person and see if you can make amends. See if you can just, it doesn't matter whose fault it was, does it? It doesn't matter. At least you can try. And you know, there's nothing greater than walking up to somebody or finding somebody whose guts you just cannot stand and sharing some loving kindness with that person. Try that sometime. That'll blow your skirt up. Did I just say that? Over and out.